Good evening and welcome and happy holidays here as we present to you this edition of the Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 3. We are now in playoff mode, and tonight we present to you game number 2 of this best of 5 series between Error 216 and the 2019 Titans Mitts of 2019. I'm Adirondack Rick. Sabatender, introduce us to our competitors.
Yo, Rick, glad to be here with you today. Should be a lot of fun. Today's match, we've got Eriror going up against, oh my god, I've just drawn a blank. Who's our other runner? It's Etium. Of course it is. There we go. So game 1 was between Thalane and Dante, and Thalane took that one. A fire rod kind of eluded Dante in game 1 there. So today, I think Titans Mitts is looking to try and even up the series here. Etium and Eriror are both very good runners, so should be a lot of fun.
Yes, indeed. These runners coming out of the Kakariko Village division, which was a very stacked division. These guys had to deal with a lot of really tough teams, including Pug Trio, which got eliminated by the 2019 Titans Mid of 2019, 3-2 back in the first round in the semifinals of the division. Here we go. What do you think we're going to see in this run? What do you think is going to matter the most with these boots on the heels or the feet of these runners?
Boot start is a lot of fun. Keeps the pace up. Who knows? It's standard start here, so we got a little bit of time before we start to really deviate from anything here. But an ice rod off the bat, that's one less item to hunt for.
Who really loves those ice rod hunts? Now watch that Turtle Rock decides to be a pendant this time around just because.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And, well, that map check is kind of almost giving us a better chance of that with 2, 4, and 5, the 5 being Desert Palace.
All crystals in the light world feels pretty good.
Getting 300 rupees off the uncle seems pretty good, too. That way you don't have to worry about anything except for maybe picking up some bombs for Kakariko Village, but you have plenty of opportunities and you have plenty of rupees. Well, there you go, Etium picking up a bomb off one of the green guards.
It's a pretty good sign that there are bombs in the item pool for our runners here, because they don't have to leave back of escape behind.
So, Etium does have that bomb. Now, obviously, the bombs do not matter for Kakariko Village or not for Kakariko Village, but for the castle, because we do have the ability to bonk into the wall. That way, we don't have to leave the items behind here in the escape. As we get the map inside of the first chest of Hyrule Castle, always a great find. Exciting when you find that map in the vanilla spot.
All right, so far, Eriror's pulling ahead just a little bit here. Execution from both runners is really solid, just a little bit of an edge so far. You get with the kind of escape sequence, you get to see a little bit of kind of where runners are when it comes to execution, and we're in for a treat today from both runners, I think.
Yeah, we know that Etium has been working pretty hard at increasing his knowledge of combat and how to run around in this game, and Eriror has been grinding that no major glitches category forever, trying to get himself up to that 122 level, which is a very, very elite part. And the fact that he was able to get sub 90 runs with emulator for the longest time before switching on over to console, as he gets a bottle out of the chest next to Zelda. And you mentioned things about no major glitch times. Now, obviously, you don't necessarily need to have proficient, the best knowledge of no major glitches runs, but it just makes you a lot tighter when it comes to battles, to how you run around with the boots, all those kind of things. It just helps you get to a better stature in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, just every little bit of execution can help when maybe your checks that you might do, you might fall behind a little bit on that front. But if you can make up for it with execution, you never fall too far behind in a randomizer seed.
It gives you that chance to stay into the running, but we'll see how things go. Obviously, this is not going to be determined by execution alone. We need a little bit of luck to get ourselves through a little bit of randomizer. As we make our way towards the back of Escape, as you can see, Eriror continuing his little bit of lead. And some of the things that we notice here is how to run around with boots, and getting these boot seeds with the open boots and the casual boots. You get to learn how to dash around Hyrule Castle unlike you've never seen before.
Yeah, it's not part of the vanilla game to be doing the escape sequence with boots. So yeah, it's rooms that you have to learn outside of the no major glitches category. So yeah, good stuff.
And you're noticing it with the kind of the way that Eriror is running into doors as well as staircases. Etium stopped pulling up just a little bit and moving a little bit aside. Like I said, this is where Eriror, his experience is just going to showcase a little bit of a lead here for Eriror and his team. But again, we're still a long ways away. We got a whole bunch of items we still need to grab. And again, having the boots here for the escape allows us to get to these back 3 of escape. We find ourselves our first glove upgrade, 10 arrows, and a red rupee.
Glove pickup is pretty nice there. That gets us one step closer to Dark World access. And yeah, one more piece of the puzzle.
Eriror through the escape sequence 512. And just for comparison, my escape sequences with boots, I'm usually at the 530 range. So that just says a lot right there. And we get some bombs because why not? Out of the Sanctuary chest.
ADM not too far behind, about a 525 there. So still, you know, good stuff from him as well. Really good to see.
And so we're going to go into the Bonk Rocks right here, which is a very important check because this is in logic right from the get-go. And oh boy, that Fire Rod is a nice find early on.
The item that eluded the runners from the first match in this series shows up right away. You'll love to see it.
Unless you're the person that ended up losing in game number 1, and then you hate to see it.
Yeah, so pour one out for Dante here.
All right, we're going to go ahead and see if Fagadum is going to be required for an item on that Lumberjack, and it turns out for 20 rupees, the answer is... I think that answer is no with 20 rupees there. I think Dante heard you calling him out there, Sabatender.
I know, yeah. Just chatting about how your race went there, Dante. That Fire Rod, man. Heartbreaker.
So 20 rupees over at the mushroom spot. Diving in, I don't think it was anything of major importance inside of the tree. No, well, it's a heart container. I guess that's important in its way because we don't want to die, do we?
We don't want to die. It's never fun.
As we head into Kakariko Village. What are we gonna find in here, Sabatender?
Well, we should find something that'll kind of give us somewhere to go. I'm gonna say we're gonna find a bow. Or, wow, how about Titan's Mitts right off the bat? And a sword upgrade, a lamp, and his heart.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, half magic as well.
You know why I'm saying uh-oh, do you?
I'm wondering, yeah, what are you thinking?
Well, at this point, we've got ourselves 2 swords. We might be starting to think about maybe making Aghanim be required for Dark World access. That's still a possibility. We get
Whoa.
ourselves a second bottle, but one thing to know, and this was something that I think we're noticing over the course of the last few seeds, especially in ladder races. Are we really ready for Aghanim yet? I don't know.
Is anyone ever really ready for Aghanim? I mean, it's frustrating because like you've got Titan's Mitts, like you've got what should be your Dark World access, yet for the game to maybe force you into a tower play, like it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, but this game does not really care. You and I have played enough of this game to know that it just really... You want to be convenient? Hell no, we're not going to make it convenient. Sick kid giving 300 rupees. I think, honestly, one of these runners were hoping that maybe they could get their Dark World access out of this village, so that way they could go straight up after they were done with the Kakariko checks, but this game's not giving them the Moon Pearl that they need to make that a thing. As we find ourselves the Bloomerang, and Eriror is going to go ahead and pick that up.
I'm definitely a fan of picking up the Bloomerang there. Even though we've got quick swap on, still it makes, I don't know, it just feels right when it's in the menu there. Wow, and the hammer as well, hanging out at the maze.
So,
I mean, pretty loaded first bit of the seed.
Yeah, but let me think about this. This doesn't offer much direction at this point, so I guess we're gonna both have to go to South Shore and head and see what this leads to.
Yeah, most definitely. You've got to do your checks that have the most density because you're just looking for one item, and it should be pretty straightforward that you should be able to collect it somewhere where there's, a lot of chests. It'd be an interesting play to see some divergence here, and see someone go for Eastern first or something like that. But I think South Shore is probably the safe bet for both.
I don't think you're going to make that play until you have to make that play at this point, unless this game gives you that bow. Flute, which,
Jeez.
Doesn't necessarily do anything just yet, but a mirror gets you thinking something else.
You know what? And with so much that has been handed to our runners already, like I wouldn't put it past this seed to think about maybe a checkerboard cave kind of situation.
I'm glad you're thinking exactly what I'm thinking. But for now, we're going to head into the mini Moldorm cave where 4 chests and the NPC exist. Quick work of the mini Moldorms for Eriror and etium right behind them. We find ourselves more money. More money. Our third bottle. A blue mail and some bombs. Now, when you have the flute, at this point, you do the save and quit. You activate the flute. And then you consider doing the Ice Rod Cave if you fancy.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty common strategy to just nope out from that from the Moldorm Cave there and save that check for a little later.
Well, first we're all going to get the King's Tomb play here for Eriror, and we find inside there's more explosives. And we see etium doing the same thing that Eriror is doing at this point. Now, time to go ahead and activate that flute.
It'll be interesting to see how much our runners want to explore before maybe thinking about that tower climb.
I don't think they're ready just yet.
I would agree.
I think the idea right now is if you see maybe the magic cape pop up, then this seed is screaming an agate trap for you, but at this stage, yeah, you can get in, yeah, you can beat it, but what else are we gonna do? So Eriror is gonna choose to head on over here to the Agena Cave, which normally feels out of the way, but with the flute combined with the boots, this really isn't that bad of a trip. And now for something a little bit different, Etium is going to go check Death Mountain, while Eriror picks up more rupees. And my goodness, we've seen enough 300s already.
Yeah, we're kind of flush with cash right now.
Like, I think we just saw the third of the 5, or is it 6 that are total in this game? But that's a lot of early 300s. And Eriror now setting himself up to head on over towards Ice Rod Cave. Wouldn't be surprised if he does the setup for the water dash to make his way over towards Zora after this.
Yeah, very likely what he could be thinking about. Ooh.
There's our moon pearl on the old man. And with that, Aga is officially off the table.
Well, that's a relief.
What, you didn't want to see these runners do another dungeon?
Yeah, no, not really.
Hey, we got ourselves a fetch quest right there by way of that mushroom.
I mean, you come up all this way. I guess you got to pick that up.
Oh no!
And it is it's a quick turn in. Ooh.
Eriror ending up losing his state. So the only annoyance here is that he's going to have to take the long way around to get to the Zora. But thankfully, he got that for the second of the 2 items inside of this waterfall cave. What ended up happening was he filled up a heart container on the pieces of heart, and that sets him into what is the water state inside of the cave. And so I think we saw a save and quit from Etium, so now he's got that mushroom with him. If this turns out to be nothing of importance, we're going to see a hard reset.
And that's exactly what we got.
Eriror now getting himself up to the mountain, so he is going to be the second to find this moon pearl on the old man. And Etium, I think at this point it's time to flute to 3 and head to the Dark World. Or maybe we flute to 4. No, we were going to flute to 3. So we're about to get a map check here from Etium. What do you think is going to be our Dark World dungeons, our pendants?
I mean, TR is definitely going to be a pendant. It just has to be. We have both rods already, right?
And there it is. And also Misery Mire. And also Swamp.
Other 5/6 crystal was Thieves Town there, so pretty easy access for that.
So we may not see the hookshot for a while.
Yeah, no, this could be kind of risky business. You could even potentially skip out on flippers if you were to fake flip over to Ice Palace. So interesting to see how the rest of this seed's going to shake out with the pendant. It's the way they are.
Chad already bringing up the list of things that we may need for Go Mode. This could be a really fast Go Mode too. Think about it.
Mm. We're looking for a bow. We're looking for Desert Palace access in some way. But other than that, like, we're pretty darn close already.
Find ourselves another of our 300s as Etium makes his way through the back of Skull Woods and Eriror doing the Hype Cave. And Etium now going to go ahead and check this first and probably do the death and then head back to start. Now, does he have that fairy in the bottle? He's probably going to end up releasing it at this point. At least I hope he remembers he's got this fairy in the bottle.
I'm just going to run it back.
I guess that makes sense, knowing that he has the fairy in the bottle and doesn't want to lose it before he goes to Mothula, because that's going to be a really, really dangerous fight coming up.
Yeah, these runners are very good, but 5-heart Mothula, if the patterns just don't work out right, that can sting.
Yeah, Mothula's RNG. If you get the good RNG, then you're going to be fine with this fight. But he gives you a bad setup, then it could get really rough. And was that a first item dig or really, really early dig there for Eriror to get the item? I didn't even see what the item was.
I don't think it was anything of importance, but yes, it was a very quick dig.
All right, 4 hearts here for Etium, but he does have half magic, so that's going to help with the fire rod shots. But we'll see how this fight goes. Trying to get him a spin early. There we go. That's a good spin to get one first hit on him. Now it's time to go ahead and try to get him out of the corner with the fire rod shots. Some runners may swap to the hammer at this stage. Some may just keep it like this, but there we go. Etium is down with Mothula. Mothula dropping a green single rupee for your troubles.
Yeah, so far we haven't really seen too much in the way of progress for our runners when it comes to items, I suppose. So, I mean, we've got these dungeons to clear out. We've got Eriror hanging out in Thieves Town, likely where Etium is heading next. Just clear some dungeons and hope something comes up, and then keep on moving.
And I think this makes sense here. What we're going to see is Etium do Thieves Town next. Eriror's going to do Skull Woods next. So this pretty much is just going to be these two swapping positions at this stage, with Etium probably making his way down to Hype Cave as his last destination. It's amazing how fast some of these skilled runners are able to pull off the positioning for these bomb jumps.
Yeah, it's just so automatic that they just land right on the spot almost every time. Easy, quick setups.
And there is the second item of Skull Woods. It is the magic powder, which could be required. As we see Eriror making his way through Thieves Town, lays down the bomb, and that didn't work. I know what Eriror was trying to do there. Yeah, that was trying to lay down the bomb to save himself a little bit of time, so that way when he picked it up and threw it, it was ready to blow up, so therefore he could save some frames. It just didn't work out for him in that case.
A valiant effort, nonetheless.
Just a piece of heart on bumper ledge, so we're not going to see any need for the cape for these runners. At least a major desire for the cape, that is. Such a weird contrast.
So
One runner sitting here at 5 hearts, the other one sitting at 8.
Yeah. There must have been a fair amount of love in the Hype Cave then, or something, to make up for that discrepancy there.
I know Zora dropped a heart container himself, and so we also found a piece of heart during the chess game, and we found red mail over in the Sea House as Eriror gets ready to face off against Blind, 3.5 hearts, where if you had this scripted, well, guess what? This 3.5 hearts, no problem. So far, pretty good. And beautiful fight right there from Eriror, right according to plan to pick up a map. So nothing of importance inside of Thieves Town, but we needed to do it. And as part of our 5-6 combo.
Yeah, despite the fact that we have quite a few items already collected, and we're just a few away perhaps from go mode, it's kind of leaving our runners with not a lot of exciting options left. From what we have seen here, it could require a pod dip without the bow, or potentially an Eastern kind of play in a similar vein.
Means that the back of Sahasrah's hut probably has the bow for all we know.
Right?
Eriror about to pick up that red mail and make his way up north to Skull Woods. Etium doing exactly the same thing that we just saw from Eriror a moment ago. So while these two are retracing their steps, you mentioned that this is a part of a team doubleheader here between these two teams.
Yes, that's right. I've got it somewhere. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so coming up right after this race, we've got Big Dunka and Sailor Nep of Error 216 and the Titans Miz of 2019 going up in Game 3. So the two teams decided to just kind of run these races back to back here. So it is a all-night affair here between these two teams. So it really should be exciting to see how Game 3 plays out. There's still a lot to go in this one, though.
That's right, and shoutouts to Artero doing the tracking for us. We do have to get a win marked off for Error 216 as they have a 1-0 series lead in this best of 5 in the conference finals. Rather, this would be the division finals, that is. And look at that, we now have a Triforce piece marked off for Eriror. That is fine work there in the background.
Yeah, so it's going to be... I wonder if our runners will do the kind of the same thing, or if they're going to split off again once they're done with these respective dungeons. We're both about to be closing in on 2 crystals each. We've got a lot of options on the eastern side of the map. We could see someone dip over to the Meyer area, check that situation out. So there's a couple plays that could be made, and gotta be something somewhere. It's just gonna be who finds it first.
I think the most lucrative option right now would be to check the 3 over at Eastern Sahasrah, then head into Eastern. As we see Eriror finishing up with his fight with Mothula first, and etium finishing off with his fight against Blind right afterwards. Now, Eriror has not claimed both items inside of here, has yet to pick up the magic powder. So etium will have a little bit of a lead on the 2 crystal aspect. However, Eriror has a little bit more ground covered. Etium still has to make his way down to the digging spot, as well as Hype Cave, Stumpy as well.
Yeah, all in all, it's been a pretty close match so far. Really not a lot separating these two runners. Good plays from both. And it's been kind of, fairly linear. So not too much room to really deviate.
Here's a check that we did not see from Eriror a moment ago. And I'm thinking that Etium is setting himself up to do the Breadsmith chain by doing the Breadsmith and freeing him. Oh, the mirror at the Peg Cave.
That's interesting.
The important thing about that mirror is that this is going to make this next check here for Etium a little bit faster. Now, Eriror is going to be coming upon this real soon. I wouldn't be surprised if he does this right after he's done with Skull Woods. But if he's missing on that mirror for a little bit, that means Etium's going to get more checks done faster.
I think the mirror's a pretty clutch find, and I am worried that Erir might actually skip on that for a little while. There's the potential that he could do some of that Eastern, either light or dark world stuff.
He is not doing a save and quit, so that's giving me promise that he's not just going to go right straight to Eastern Palace. So we see Etium now freeing the breadsmith, bringing him back to his home. This is also going to allow these runners to check the magic bat while they're doing all of this. All right, so Eriror now has heading to the bumper cave, and now is the big question. And it does not look like he is doing a save and quit, so this is good to see. It looks like, and he's got the hammer out, he's going to do Peg Cave. So he is going to get that mirror right now. One worry that we had, and I know you had that, I know you expressed it there, was that Eriror was going to try to wait for the mirror before he did this cycle here. And obviously that would have cost him big in the end. But he is going to get that mirror right now once he's done with these pegs. And we get ourselves the second shield off the magic bat.
Yeah, I guess he's thinking that he should just clear off, this section of the map fully and completely, as opposed to leaving some kind of, pieces behind, when it's really easy just to dip back and spend a couple of seconds to do hammer pegs before you fully leave the area.
Now, the one big difference here for Eriror is that he's going to just flute away unless he wants to check cave 45 right after he grabs the chest, and maybe he ends up doing that. Now, obviously, with the purple chest duping technique that we've seen over the past few months, this will make that check a little bit faster if he chooses to do that.
He might skip on it. I think I might. There's so much else that's opened up in the world right now. Like, if you can probably leave that one spot for a little bit.
The biggest check that we have open to us now?
Death Mountain?
That is correct. A whole lot of checks over there on Death Mountain, both light and dark world. Eriror about to grab his fireball shield. As we see Etium leaving the chest behind. This is that duplicate that we've been talking about. The interesting thing here, Sabbath Sender, is that we are now just a bow away from get to GT mode. Obviously, we are going to still need the hook shot, and we may need the cane at Samaria depending on where the big key is located. But this could be a turbo seed.
Oh, absolutely. There is so much potential here for this to be really quick.
And Eriror is going to give us a check of the Misery Mire area, the Misery Mire shed, and then make his way into the desert area. If we need to get into Misery Mire, it's going to be by way of Bombos. And here in the Misery Mire shed, we find not that medallion, but the Quake.
Looks like they left the wrong key under the mat there.
They left the car key when they meant to leave the house key.
Alright, so both runners checking out Desert Palace here. This is one of the 5/6 crystals, so that adds a little bit of weight to it. And pretty quick, easy clear with the boots here. Shouldn't take long for these two to zip through this.
A little bit of a swing and a miss there for Eriror, a little too south in order to knock that key off the torch, so he had to do that all over again. As we go ahead and see what's inside of the map chest, and oh, you hate to see it.
Well, now if that is something, Eriror has the advantage of having left Cave 45. So he's got 2 checks in that area to check if it comes down to it.
Looks like Big Key is going to be vanilla this time around. I wouldn't be surprised if Eriror just leaves behind the big chest and goes right straight to Lamon. That's exactly what Eriror is going to do right now. Etium now picking up that shovel as well. Both of these runners in the same dungeon. It's so neat seeing these runners have the same plan in play, the same ideas, but I think if you're a rooting interest of the 2019 Titans mid of 2019, you'd like to see Etium maybe make a move that Eriror's not going to, and hope that he picks up something that it's going to take Eriror a little bit of more time to pick up.
Yeah, he's not quite at the point where he needs to like make a kind of like a galaxy brain play, but definitely a little bit of divergence wouldn't hurt him.
And it's more of a fact that Eriror, with his ability to combat in this seed, and it does turn out that the big chest will have the second and final item of this Desert Palace. And again, this also part of the 5-6 combo means that the Pyramid Fairy is available to us. But Eriror's combat, once again, his combat is a little bit better than Etium's is. So you're hoping to gain time by maybe finding something a little bit faster. And of course, this being a blind race, you don't know where your opponent is at any time. For all you know, Eriror went up the mountain.
And it's entirely likely that that's what he's thinking. You know, there's so many checks up there that by maybe doing something like Desert Palace first, maybe you're gonna luck into finding something that's gonna put you closer, one step closer to go mode.
So we found ourselves a shovel and 5 rupees inside of this Desert Palace, and time to head on over to Checkerboard Cave, which we mentioned earlier could have possibly have had the Moon Pearl, but not here.
Just a piece of heart today. So now we're fluting somewhere else. Where are we going next, Eriror?
We're going to flute on, and it's time to head to Death Mountain.
Yeah, given the items that we're still looking for, you can't turn away from Death Mountain being so dense with checks. You've got another dungeon up here you can complete as well in Tower of Hera, so it's too much to pass up to take a gamble and go for Eastern or Pod right now.
So Etium, finding nothing inside of the Desert Palace besides a shovel, will now head on over to Checkerboard again himself. And so Etium maybe about a minute behind at this stage, as we find the big key downstairs in Hera.
Yeah, it's looking like it's about a minute, but it's really not, anything that's insurmountable at this point.
Yeah, it's not. It's not
quick little checks. We're good.
Yeah, this is not a dire situation here, as Etium's going to be checking again, and oh yeah, that's right, we did see Agena earlier. 300 rupees. So Etium is starting at Link's house. So we have ourselves our first real divergence of this seed. And Etium's going to check to see what we have at the shovel. And I've never seen that bomb set up there by Eriror, but he pulled it off really, really fast. That was a good bomb jump.
Yeah, no kidding. So this could be the point where Etium's definitely making a bit of a play here, hoping for the best, do this one-off location that takes 30 seconds. Maybe it pays off. Oh, he's got Ice Rod Cave to do as well.
Yeah, and also
a little bit of cleanup work on his part here.
So it's going to take a little bit more time here for Etium, as Eriror now will be finishing off with the Tower of Hera, finishes off the Moldorm fight, and he finds 10 arrows. That is item number 2 of this Tower of Hera, downstairs, not required. And so the divergence continues as Etium now heads over towards the Dark World. He's going to go and cash in the Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, this is definitely, some strategic play here to try and do some of these checks that he's figuring his opponent is not going to do right off the bat.
And so there we go with the purple, with the pyramid bomb in tow, as Eriror picks up the single arrow out of Spiral Cave. And we see Etium leaving the bomb behind and setting himself up for the bomb dupe, and perfectly done. Have you ever done that bomb dupe?
No, actually, I haven't. It's one of those little tricks that looks like it saves, a nice amount of time there, but just haven't got it down yet.
Ooh. There's our flippers in Paradox. And there's our bow!
That's even better. Some big brain play right there.
And there's our other bow!
No way.
And there's also
Wow.
the temporary sword, which I don't think Etium is going to be getting. Unless hookshot turns out to be somewhere required, although I think at this point, Eriror is now in get to GT mode.
Yeah, I would say that's probably what is on his mind.
So for a brief second, you may have thought Etium had just taken control of this run by grabbing the bow out of Pyramid Fairy, but Eriror says, hey, look, I can get a bow too. And ha, there's our bombos for Misery Meyer.
Just to answer a question in chat there, the bows are now progressive in the randomizer here. So yeah, that second bow, the other runners the second bow will be the silver arrows for our respective runners. So Etium's silver arrows are going to be in Paradox Cave, and Eriror, if he chooses to grab them, will be at the Pyramid Fairy.
Let's see how Eriror plays this, because there's still a possibility that we are not in go mode just yet, because there are 5 chests in Ganon's tower that are blocked off by an item that we haven't seen from either runner just yet.
I feel like you've just got to go for it at this point. I mean, you can get through the rest of these dungeons so quickly and be up in GT. Like, why not just go big?
As we see Eriror now heading on over past these mimics. So if the big key turns out to be over here, if Eriror goes right straight to Helma, I think he's going to play this out to, I'm going straight to GT. And if it so bees it that that the Canis Maria is required, then guess what? I'm heading back to a few dungeons.
Yeah, I think that's the mindset that you'd have to go with. Just a little annoying that we'll have to dig a bit deeper into the dungeon to find the big key.
You say that like that's a bad thing.
Isn't it?
When I said let's do commentary together, Sabatender, I wasn't thinking 1 hour special.
Yeah, right.
I've got to learn how to do that myself. That is a good way of using a heart health loss and a bomb to set off those things and never have to worry about those annoying beetle things.
Yeah, no kidding.
By the way, we do see Eriror continuing to clear out this dungeon. Maybe out of defense at this point.
Yeah, I guess he's feeling like pretty good about his routing so far. So he's thinking that he can afford to do a couple of these checks just on the off chance he stumbles across Samaria.
Watch, he ends up picking up the hook shot while we're at it.
Yeah, right. Which is also, something that is technically required, though it's could be within the powers of both these runners too. However, I don't know if ADM is too much a fan of the hover, but
Game number 2 between Error 216 and the 2019 Titans Mitt of 2019. The divisional finals. Both teams coming out of the Kakariko division. 2019 Titan Mitt of 2019 ended up knocking off Pug Trio in the semifinals last week, while Error 216, they sat back and relaxed a little bit.
yeah, both runners here closing in on Helmasaur. Won't be too long before we're done with this dungeon, mirroring right into Eastern Palace. Really clean Turtle's room from Eriror there.
Yeah, that tempered sword's helping him out with regards to that room, but also knowing how to do that room for a lot of the cases of the RNG that room can hand you really does help out, as well as Etium now makes his way over towards that turtle room, as Eriror now facing off against the Helmasaur King. 17 whacks of the hammer to remove the casing, and now 4 swings of the sword. And the Helmasaur King is done. And that's a pretty solid room there for Etium as well.
Yeah, with that sword disadvantage, still manages to take care of them in just a few seconds. Really nice.
And there's that mirror that you're mentioning about, heading on into Eastern Palace. Next up after this will be Ice Palace. And I know people have been mentioning about how the cane would be nice to have for Ice Palace. It's not necessarily required, unless Coldsteer drops a key, but the way that we play Ice Palace, we almost never need it.
Yeah, this is true.
By the way, if Coldsteer does drop a key, it will tell us a whole lot about this seed.
That's a good point. It definitely gives us a better idea of what items are actually required to do the dungeons. Wow, gold sword, cool.
I guess we don't have to worry about that sword thing about Etium anymore.
No.
And that sword there is more of a benefit for Etium than it is for Eriror at this point.
Most definitely, he's going to be really happy to see that sword pop up. Definitely, the jump from master to tempered is just so clutch.
I think I was more interrupting what you were talking about in regards to what Coldsteer having a key does for the seed.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think I was pretty much done with my point there, but that it means that the Canis Amara is not in GT, and is required to get to GT, which could put a little more weight towards those 5 chests on the right side of Ganon's Tower, which it's kind of the only thing in the way of our runners at this point.
Now, technically, also the key layout to Ice Palace can tell us a lot about what's going to happen in regards to GT as well.
Oh yeah, how's that?
Because if there's a certain key layout, then that means the hookshot was technically required to beat this seed, and therefore the hookshot will not be in GT as well.
Oh yeah, of course, right? Yeah.
Oh, never mind!
Yeah, of course. And I'm pretty sure that Eri made the skip of this vanilla big key chest. Is that right? I don't think I saw him go over this way.
Yeah, I think he ended up skipping it. As we are going to find out, it probably did pay him off dearly, as there was the map in there. There's Etium picking that up. Eriror now making his way into Ice Palace. Final dungeon before Ganon's Tower. We're going to have a sub-1 entry into GT, Sabatender.
Yeah, this is a really fast seed. When it's front loaded like this one was, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a jet. Sometimes things just kind of, die out. But everything has been, kind of right on the path here for our runners.
And just because, well, there's the other cane. And just for reasons, let's just go ahead and find the hookshot here while we're at it.
You know what? I wouldn't put it past this seed at this point.
Etium now setting himself up to face off against the Armos 5 swings, and then over to the corner to here knock them all out. And there we go. Canis Samaria picked up for Etium. He does not have the flippers, but he's going to go right straight for Ice Palace too, because he can fake flipper his way in. And look at this, Eriror skipping chests. He wants to get right straight to GT. He's probably exercising his A button presses for something that's going to be coming up in Ganon's Tower.
Just doing some of the like easier one-offs here in the dungeon here. Just something, just to make things a little easier. If you had the hook shot, it's always nice to have. Maybe he finds silvers because he doesn't know where the other bow is.
By the way, what was the story about that 20 rupees that was on Lake Hylia Island?
I don't know. What was the story?
The green rupee with a 20 next to it. That was where the boots are.
Ah.
Oh gosh, that was an annihilation of Cold Stare right there. And there's the key drop. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, there are going to be 22 possibilities on where the big key can be. Shall we start the game here, Sabatender?
Yeah, let's get her going. We've got our tracker, our tail hitting the command there. So yeah, get your guesses in for the GT Big Key guessing game. What do you think it's going to be, Rick?
I'm going to guess number... Just because of the seed, it's going to be number 5, which Eriror is going to go to the right-hand side to pick up. What about you?
I think we're gonna find it right away. I'm gonna say 2. I'm gonna say it's gonna be really early. Of course, it's gonna be like, tile room or something, and our runners are gonna be really annoyed that what should have been a really quick seed, gets destroyed by a stupid GT.
By the way, we got 2 keys here on the right-hand side. One small key and the big key. So I'm thinking, if I'm thinking about this logic correctly, hookshot will not be in Ganon's tower.
Mm.
It's right there on the island!
Wow.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, that's just wild. Atium's gonna be pretty happy to see that up there. So even though he looks like he is a little behind at this point, still seeing that will be a bit of a relief at least.
And now he knows he doesn't have to worry about the hovering at all. He's just going to go ahead and pick this up right now. And therefore, we're going to get ourselves to Ganon's tower. All right. Here we go. Eriror hoping to get himself a 2-0 series lead for his team.
Yeah, at this point, it is looking good for him. It's a pretty sizable lead at this point. GT routing, if ADM gets really lucky and makes up a lot of time on that front, it could be possible. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is Eriror's to lose at this point.
Etium now making his way over towards Cold Stare. He does not want to leave the hookshot behind at this point because I think he wants to make sure that he has it heading on in. All right. Well, never mind. There's a number 1.
I almost said 1. I almost thought it was going to be that quick.
Zaki, the guesser at the number 1, scoring 32 points. Congratulations. Woohoo.
I mean, this is pretty wild. It's going to be, unfortunately, just a little bit, not quite enough time for Eriror to get through GT here and make it a sub 1. But boy, this is fast.
Yeah, this is blazing fast. This is probably going to be the fastest casual boots of the season here in the league. And maybe we can get some of our quick crack staff admins here on the buttons here to find out whether or not this was a record. My goodness, this was a jet seed.
Yeah, you can't really go much faster than this. Things worked out pretty much perfectly. There was very minimal backtracking. Dungeons that were crystals were, accessible. Everything just kind of came together in this seed. So, yeah, really quick.
So I guess the major question is what do we do with the rest of our day?
I know. I was ready. I had a pot of coffee on here. I was ready to go, and yeah. Yeesh, we got plenty of free time now. Just a quick note that the Game 3 is still scheduled for 8:10 Eastern start time. Even though this one seems to be wrapping up fairly quickly, I don't think they're going to be doing them immediately back-to-back. Maybe we'll get confirmation on that. But the next game in this series is going to be taking place right after this one, 8 o'clock, more or less, Eastern time.
Yep. And we're going to have Drossi and Spy Weaver here in the commentary booth to give us the call of that match in the Match of the Power.
You know, I had honestly forgotten that Etium hadn't done Tower of Hera yet. This is his first time up the mountain entirely. Like he did Pyramid Fairy for that bow and never set foot on the mountain until just now.
Yeah, with the exception of the old man and the mushroom earlier, which the
Right.
old man, the moon pearl.
Oh, that fall! No. Oh.
Yep, the walk of shame after you fall down 2 floors, 2. And Eriror now getting 10 arrows that he will never use. As we have ourselves the gold sword, silverless Ganon fight coming up in just a few moments here. As you mentioned, the sub 1 is off the books, but this is still going to be a fantastic time.
Yeah, anytime you end up with a 1-0 something, it was a jet seed, and it takes a great runner to do it as well. So yeah, props to both runners for putting in a really good time here. If ADM finishes this one, it would be a pretty solid time as well.
You know, Sebatender, I have seen spoiler races that have taken longer than this.
Yeah.
Finished with Aga 2 at the 1 hour mark is Eriror. Finished with Moldworm 1 is Etium. And you know how we were mentioning earlier about the path of the path divergence?
Yes.
It worked out in Eriror's favor.
Yeah, and for a moment there, it really we enjoyed about maybe 15 seconds of thinking that Adium had just galaxy brained the seed, finding that bow where he did. But yeah, just the way everything has played out here, it's with both bows kind of turning up in fairly, for both runners at about the same time. This is kind of how it was meant to be, I guess.
And so Eriror now finishing off with this phase 3 portion of this fight. You'll be told that the silver arrows are in the dark world, which he will never get. Gets the torch glitch and now gets ready to do 12 spins onto Ganon. And there's the hookshot pickup for Etium. But this one's going to be too little too late for Etium. A fantastic time. Yeah, I mean, you're feeling good about yourself going into Ganon's Tower at 1 hour 1:45, and what maybe about 30 seconds from now, watching your opponent hit the done button. You're like, what in the world? And we'll get to talk to these guys about this in just a moment. But Eriror finishes off the Ganon fight. Holy cow, a 1:02. And get in the door. 09.
Wow, GG's. What a running.
And Etium immediately sees his fate and has said, no thanks, I'm good, bro.
Alrighty, so we will welcome in the winner of this race. It's Eriror. GG's, buddy. What a time.
Oh, thank you.
62 minutes.
Probably the fastest rando seed I've done. That's like 7-7 defeat Ganon. So pretty nice race to have it in.
Yeah, no kidding. And we are now joined by Adium. GG's, buddy.
Yo, GG's.
Oh, sorry, I had my mic muted.
No worries.
Yeah, that was That was dumb.
No kidding, eh?
I mean, this was the exact opposite type of seed I needed to have any chance against Eri. First of all, I mean, it was kind of a hover seed. I mean,
It's
the
definitely
hook
looking
was
like
just
that. Yep.
but I cleared a bunch of extra stuff looking for it. And then
There,
there were no decisions to be made the entire seed. It was just, here's all the stuff, go do the crystals, you're done.
Yeah.
you two had
There was just no chance for me to win on this seed.
you two had one divergence, and it looked like for about 10 seconds that it was going to pay off for you, and that it was when you found the bow on the Pyramid Ferry, but then Eriror found the other bow in Paradox.
Even then, I mean, it probably wouldn't have been long for him to get back to Pyramid Ferry because there was not a whole lot else to do.
Yeah. If that had been like the thing that was kind of clogging up the works on the seed there, then yeah, for sure he would have been back. But yeah, I mean, nonetheless, yeah, as you say, it was a pretty linear kind of affair. And the way that the crystals laid out, it was just, yeah, go do the things and, win the game.
Yep. Well, good luck to Nap. Hopefully she can help us avoid the sweep.
Yeah, that'll be coming up right after, well, not quite right after this one, but not too long afterwards.
Yeah, and about 55 minutes from now was going to be that. And do we know which mode they're going to be playing for that game?
Inverted Swordless Randomizer or something? Something this way.
I don't think there's Randomizer. I think Dunka vetoed Randomizer, but there's probably some silliness.
Well, I think it's safe to say that seed is not going to be done in 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 9 seconds.
You never know.
Not likely.
Yeah, Inverted Swordless Fast Cannon Map Compass Shuffle.
For this inverted M shuffle.
Right?
So, Etium, any words of encouragement you want to say to your teammate as we get ready for game number 3 coming up in 50 minutes?
I don't really have anything in mind. I mean, just win, or try your best. I mean, I didn't expect us to get this far anyway, and they're a strong team, so either result will be fine.
Yeah, the fact that you've made it to the divisional finals of what was a really, really difficult Kakariko division says a lot about your team's power, and we'll see if you guys can't reverse sweep it.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a rough season, and beating the Pug Trio in a best of 5 is quite something. So huge congrats to that. And I mean, we still have 3 games to go, maybe. So we'll see what happens. I'm not cutting ourselves in just yet. So
yeah. I mean, the randomizer is what it is, man. So it could go anyway. Yeah,
the rates could have gone any other way as well. I just got quite lucky that it was either like a seed like this where it's very linear, or like a very full clear seed. Like anything in the middle, I mean, that's just where randomizer shines, and anyone can win any game. But yeah, anything where I'm basically led to where I need to be, yeah, it's gonna be a rough game. But GG Stadium nonetheless. Thank you very much for the race, and we'll see if we need to play again.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing I want to say is I hope the next seed is a bit more interesting than this one, because this one was absolutely not interesting at all.
Yeah, they are. When they're like this, they're a little bit boring. When everything's just kind of handed to you. Yeah, well, I guess a little bit sooner than expected, but we are going to be, I guess, wrapping up this broadcast.
Yeah.
I want to say.
I guess the question is what are you going to be doing now that the seed is done in 62 minutes, Eriror?
I'm probably going to go to bed because it's 1 a.m. maybe just like rewatch a bit of the commentary and then just chill in bed for a little bit, because this
Nice.
was already scheduled a little bit late. So the fact that it's a fast seed isn't too bad for me. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Last thing I just want to say is thanks to you guys for doing the commentary, and thanks to the tracker.
Right on. Well, it was a pleasure to call the race. It's been a good one. Yeah, and it's always fun to be in the booth with my buddy Rick. Thanks for joining me on this one, my man.
Absolutely.
And
yeah, it was fun. I mean, I guess I didn't anticipate this being done so soon, but you know, when you have a seed that goes completely like this with two fantastic runners, I guess anything is possible. So good luck to everybody, and we'll see how game number 3 goes. Once again, it's coming up in about 50 minutes from now, 8:10 p.m. Eastern, here on Speed Gaming 2. Why don't you go ahead and shout out our tracker who's been clicking these buttons for these 70 minutes here, Sabatender?
yeah, Arterral, clicking those buttons behind the scenes. We really appreciate you doing that for us, buddy. The trackers, they deserve all the love because they keep us on track with the items and whatnot. I don't know if I have anything else to add here. It's been a good one. So yeah, I'll give you the final word, Rick.
Go follow these runners. I know we're having a little bit of issue with our commands at this point in time, but be sure to follow etium and Eriror, and go ahead and follow anybody that you'd like to, and come back here in 50 minutes. We'll do this all over again with Drosy and Spy Weaver in the booth. Until then, thank you very much for joining us.